Hey everybody, welcome to On Grade. This is episode 14. I got my co-host in the shop, Devin Boudreau.
What's going on, guys?
And we have a special guest today, Joseph Villarreal from South Texas. What exact town? You told me once, but I just brain farted it. What was the name of the town?
I'm from Harlingen, Texas, but we're operating out of San Antonio.
You're in San Antonio.
Yeah, San Antonio, Central Texas.
So I apologize, everybody. In San Antonio, that's an amazing place. I didn't mean any disrespect. So, Joe, tell us, do you go by Joe or Joseph?
Joe's good. That's
right.
Yeah, everybody calls me Joe out in the field on the job. So I've been Joe for 10, 15 years now.
Well, Joe, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, brother.
Well, so came to San Antonio, went to UTSA, didn't know what I wanted to do. Originally, I wanted to sell cars. My dad's a car dealer down in Harlingen, where I was raised. And so kind of grew up. I've always been a nuts and bolts guy. Always been into tractors, into trucks, anything diesel. And came up to San Antonio. Obviously, it's a whole 9-day difference from going to a big city from South Texas. But kind of fell in love with the construction industry, what was going on in San Antonio with as much building they were doing in the 2009, 2010 time frame. And got a construction management degree, went right to work for a GC, worked with this GC for about 10 years, powerhouse GC out of San Antonio, very well respected. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot about all the different trades, running work, being in different environments, talking with owners and just working through issues and learning to become a problem solver through all, everything we dealt with on these jobs. And so I've always had an interest in earthwork. I was always kind of like the civil guy. If a civil contractor on one of our sites called and needed, a grade shot or had questions on something, I'd run out of the building to go and do it. And so being in that environment, I've always had an interest in civil construction, heavy equipment, grading, and in the tech involved with that. And so I left my superintendent job, bought a skid steer and a mulching head, and went land clearing out in the hill country, which was a total blast. It was very hard. It was a very hard work, dragging a gooseneck and a skid steer around every day all over the world. Learned a lot of lessons, and found my way getting back into commercial construction just through some friends and contacts that I had at my time as a superintendent. And so, it'd be, hey, we need a swell cut in or a detention pond built, or some smaller site projects that, skid steer work and things like that turned into small dozer work, blade work, excavate, eventually some bigger pads and parking lots. And now I'd say we're a full service site contractor.
Nice.
That's awesome, man. That's cool.
So what's the name of your actual company, bud?
It's Villareal Civil Group.
Villarreal
out of San
Civil.
Antonio.
Okay. How many machines you guys up to now?
We have 17.
Yeah.
17.
You and me about the same size, sounds like.
Yeah, so we're we have about 17 machines in the fleet, pushing 7 to 10 guys, spending. We have some part-time guys that come and operate for us and things as we need. But we're scaling up. We're taking on quite a bit of work, and so it's been a roller coaster, but it's been fun.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. How's the market been down there?
Market, I mean, it's unpredictable. Some days we're hot, we're winning in the bid room. Other days, we get it, you don't. And so that's been the hardest transition for me, being a field guy on the GC side, is how am I going to become a civil estimator, and how am I going to compete with other civil contractors that have been doing this every day for 20 years. And so that's been a struggle for me, is how are we going to accurately estimate these projects? How are we going to get our takeoffs? We had no processes in place. And so now that we're getting a little more established, we're able to invest in some estimating, invest in some management, and start to develop some systems to take off and provide accurate, timely estimates for our customers. And so with a, quote unquote slowdown that, everybody's been talking about that we haven't really seen, it's we need to be, how do we provide a good estimate that's competitive, but then also provide the value in the field to back that up. So if it is close, our customers know that we have it handled,
Right.
and that we can produce and that we can get out and execute properly on what we proposed on.
So are you running ag tech, or what softwares are you using?
Right now we're subbing out all of our takeoffs and modeling.
Okay. So you're using a third party?
Yes, and we have all of our, we're on TopCon.
Yep.
So we're a TopCon. We have it on our blade and our dozer.
Mm-hmm.
And so our relationship with RDO, they have a modeling department that has been building all of our models for us.
Okay.
So it's been a fantastic relationship, and everything's been working out great.
So how long ago did you switch from primarily doing private work into commercial?
About a year and a half ago.
Okay, so you're kind of fresh to it then.
Yes.
I mean, I know you.
Yeah.
GC side of it,
I've been in business for 2.5 years, so it's
Right.
been, and that's a year that was clearing lots.
Yeah.
That's
You
what-
ramped up hard and fast.
Yeah, like we were talking about the last couple episodes, and you're probably gonna laugh when I say this because you'll probably agree with the two of us. The best money you ever made though was when you're doing the private work, wasn't it?
Relatively, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
it is.
Your
but
margins were better.
Well,
right?
it all comes home.
Yeah, and
You
it's
know,
economy of scale, like he talked about.
course.
You got a gooseneck trailer or a truck, and
Yeah.
And so, you can put a 30% markup on that, and you're making darn good money because
Right.
after you pay for everything, it's yours. So,
Right.
Economy of scale is huge. You go from one guy and one machine to 17 in 2 years, man. That's incredible.
Right, and it never ends. It never ends.
Oh,
You can't take a day off.
No.
You can't.
You're feeding a monster, man.
Exactly. And so that's been tricky. It's been tricky because, a year ago we'd go clear 2 or 3 or 4 lots a week, and, you can go home on the weekend and wash your machine and not worry about what's going on. But now, we're bidding every day.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the field every day. We're surveying every day. We're mobilizing and moving equipment. And so it never ends. And you guys, know that.
Oh, yeah.
So have you gotten to the point yet where are you running jobs still and estimating at the same time, or do you finally got some field management for you?
We are making that transition right now. I mean, I've been out of the field, I'd say about a month and a half.
Okay.
I find myself there every day. I love field work.
Oh, yeah.
I love the field work.
It's what we enjoy doing.
Of
so
course.
leaving it sucks.
That's what we got
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And so, I have some very competent foremen. We have some really great guys. We have young guys. They're very talented. We can get into that. That's the younger generation. As much as everybody dogs them, they're really badass operators.
Yep.
And they're very talented.
They pick it up quicker.
And they pick it up quicker.
They pick it up quick. And, we have a 25-year-old blade man that can finish just as good as anybody else,
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the episode, but I'd like to take a minute of your time to talk to you about today's sponsor. Are you a GIS professional, land surveyor, or construction professional looking for the best in surveying equipment, software, and service? Look no further than AGS Inc. AGS Inc. is an authorized dealer for TopCon and Sokia surveying equipment dealer and EOS aerial mapping products dealer, with a supply store in Grapevine, Texas to serve the DFW Metroplex, Central Texas presence, and a corporate headquarters in Houston, Texas. AGS has you covered. Stop by and experience the AGS Inc. difference today. At AGS, it is a service after the sale that counts. AGS is the proud sponsor of the On Grade podcast. On Grade podcast listeners, give these guys a call if you want to talk about bringing precision surveying, layout, drones, GPS, GIS, or 3D scanning spatial technologies to your company. Thank you, and have a great evening. Back to the episode. We got a good mix on our crew. I think Devin and me were talking about it. I got some guys I got a hoe hand that's like, I think he's 21, and my blade hand's 50, but my blade hand I've known for 20 years,
Of course.
and that's why it works for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I mean, I've had young guys run blades for me, and they did just fine. The thing is that they didn't. The thing that you get with experience, though, is you don't have to go out there and double check it.
Right.
If they leave that site, it's on grade.
So what I've noticed with the new guys coming in, because we're hiring kids right out of college.
Right
out of college, we're teaching them the basics. How to move dirt, how to finish, how's this supposed to look. What are we looking for? Is it too wet, too dry? I mean, all the basics. We're breaking it down to the basics. And the biggest rub I have with the younger guys is that they know how to operate the machines. They hop in them. That within a day they're moving dirt, mixing base, doing everything that they're supposed to do. But the problem that we have is that we struggle with having the experience of actually how to move dirt. Your big cuts and fills. How are we going to get across the site properly? Where are we going to set up our stockpiles? Where are we going to set up our haul in, haul out? What equipment for what job?
That's all experience. It's just time,
and
right?
That's where you have to have a mix of, you got to bring in some gray hair with some experience to coach these guys up on not so much on, hey, this is how you stop a dozer or how you hit the automatics, but hey, you've got this window over here that shouldn't be here.
There's an old adage in the Dirt Bible that nobody talks about the Dirt Bible anymore, but it's a Dirt Bible. It's a real thing. And you hear the old guys talk about it. They call it the Dirt Bible. But you always think 3 steps ahead in dirt work. So if you're out moisture conditioning, I know you guys don't do it as much there because you got a lot of rock.
Not like y'all do.
Yeah, I worked in Austin a couple times, and it was cool because we worked with Ranger, and Ranger specializes they have 2 divisions in their company. I think I was telling you about this. Literally, if you're on this side of 35, you do moisture conditioning. Right. And those guys only do that. And then they got a rock side that literally goes up in the hills. Right. It works in like Cave Creek, Bee Cave, all that area. All they do is mine rock. That's all they do. They got 11s and rippers and surface miners and iron rolls. And so a lot of times if they got to cross them, the guys don't really know that stuff. So they really specifically try to keep their guys sticking to one side or the other. And we kind of run into that here because we're doing a job right now on rock in Dallas. And some of our guys had never been around rock work before. So we're having to train them on, hey, when you're dealing with the kind of rock we're dealing with some, call it Garland shale. I don't know if you guys heard of it. It's the same stuff that comes up from Austin, but it's 100 blows for 3/4 of an inch. Yeah. You want to talk about some serious rock, dude. Yeah. I mean, we got a 15-ton hammer with a 349 on it right now, and it's and you got a rock bucket behind it trying to scrape what you can, and we got to go down 4 foot in this crap. Yeah. So I mean, you gotta find guys that have experience in all that, because you can have a guy that's done moisture conditioning for 20 years and you throw him in a rock job and it's like deer in the headlights. Like, oh, what am I supposed to do? You know? So what, you were saying you got some, do you do the estimates yourself or do you have an estimator?
I have been doing them myself.
Wow.
And it's been, you can ask some of my GCs, as we've progressed. I mean, when I first got into this and first, commercial parking lots and things like that, I'd go bid a job and I'm looking at it, I was like, okay, well, this is a 20,000 square foot parking lot. Okay. It sounds like we're going to need a D8, a 349 for a month, 6 guys, trucks, everything. And then, you turn in your estimate and you're like, hey guys, you're 3X, you're way off. And I'd be like, hey, I'm trying, we're trying to figure this out. And so we've gotten a lot of help, and we've really dialed in our estimating process now. I sub out my takeoffs on the big mass cuts and fills and things like that, just because I'm not going to sit there and scale that. But we're getting to a point now where we can dial in a very accurate, very precise estimate.
Have you learned your trucking yard yet?
Yes.
You learned that the hard way.
Yeah, you learned that. Yeah. I've been lucky. I knock on wood, I learned that lesson a long time ago, so I was able to carry that with me. But I've seen a lot of guys in a lot of pain when it comes to trucking.
And it's sad, man, because unfortunately, this is the stuff we talked about last week. When you put an estimate out, dude, put your damn quantities on your proposal. Yeah. Because at least if you make them put it in the contract, and God forbid you got to overrun that quantity, you can at least turn in what you've hauled and go, hey, man. But this is what the key of doing a topo before you start the job. Right. You get a surveyor, go out and topo the job. But I mean, that's stuff you have to learn. That's not just taught, And I don't even understand why I got a buddy of mine that got a construction science degree. I'm sure you two can attest to this. I don't have that. I'm actually going for civil engineering right now. But what I don't understand is how in construction science they don't teach y'all at least the basics of every trade. Like I hear they kind of do. They kind of go through the gist of it, but like how come they don't at least teach you that? Like, hey, this is bank yards, this is cubic yards, this is square yards, this is trucking yards. But nobody teaches that.
I'll say we had some really good professors that came from the actual contracting side. So I was very fortunate that we had a lot of hands-on, a lot of field. Like it was actually a lot of people in our class went the field route. You hear now that everybody wants to get a construction management degree and they want to be a project manager for day one. Mm-hmm. We were actually lucky that a lot of the guys that came out of my class and around that age group that we went to be superintendents, and we were proud of it because it was we wanted to work with it. We wanted to work in the field. We wanted to build things, and then being able to take that experience to now I'm stuck in an office, with 15 jobs to bid. And I'm like, okay, well, now I'm paying for that. All the fun I had in the field.
Welcome to becoming an owner, my friend.
Oh yeah.
The only time you see the job sites when there's a problem most of the time now.
Right.
It's unfortunate. I got to go out to the job today. I think I told you I was so excited about it. It was like the first time I've been to a job in like a month. So because we're shorthanded right now, I'm training up our new project manager. So it's I thank God I got Pete. Pete handles all the estimates and stuff and getting the contracts in. But it sucks, man. Yeah. Especially once you've grown to the size I've grown, where you don't have the PM anymore. You're only on 2 or 3 jobs at once. It's not a big deal. But you got 10 going. You're wanting to rip your hair out. It's like, dude, I have a project manager for this. Like, that's his job in life, is just to make sure this is all we can handle.
Right.
And so I got these PMs hitting me up from the GCs like, hey, man, can you get me this change order? Hey, man, can you send your billing? Hey, man, I need your retainage,
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, guys, I need 5 minutes, and I think something I've learned now that I've grown to the size I have is, and you will too, and me and Devin talk about it, you got to learn eventually to shut it off, though. You're like you talked about, you're working every day. You can't do that, man. You can't do that forever.
Right.
Do it for about another 6-7 months. Once you got the capital to do it, get you an estimator and get you a project manager. I promise you something. Your headaches are going to go. You're going to have headaches still, but not as many as you're having right now. You're not going to be sitting there going, oh, I want to go have a beer so bad right now.
Right.
But I got to finish this estimate, and it's 10 o'clock at night, and I got to get back up at 5 and go check the job.
It's all good. I left the shop at 4:30 this morning. So
yeah, he tells me about can I tell you the story about you falling asleep? Yeah. So he calls me, what was it, 2 or 3 days ago?
Last week sometime.
Yeah, he calls me like 2 or 3 days ago. I was like, what's up, bro? He's like, hey, dude, can you send me your bill? I'm like, yeah, I'll get you that bill. He goes, yeah, okay. Well, you never guess what I did last night. I'm like, what? He's like, I had to get this proposal back, and I was typing it up, and I fell asleep on my computer. And I said, you fell asleep on your computer? He said, yeah, and it was like midnight, and I woke up, and it was 4:30 in the morning.
Sitting at your desk, hand on the mouse, whole arms asleep, wake up, don't know what's going on. Wipe the shit out of your eyes and then realize, oh crap, I still got to get this done.
Look down,
another hour out, go have a nap and go to work.
Look down, you got drool on your fucking plans. Just a big pile of drool.
No, and I think like exactly what y'all said, we've all been there.
Yeah.
We've done the late night estimate, we've done the late night pay app, we've done that. But at the same time too, I think that's why I think that attributes to so many issues in the industry. Mm-hmm. I mean, same thing. I go on a job and a PM looks like he's on his 3rd cup of coffee, and but it gets to a point where we almost have to like slow down, prioritize and execute, and say, hey, I've got 5 things to do today, 6 things to do today. I'm going to knock those out, and I'm going to go home. And I mean, that's all we can do. I can't pump out 15 bids in one night.
No.
And if they are, they're going to be shit.
And you're going to regret it, because you're going to get awarded that job, and in the back of your mind, you're going to go,
I missed something.
What did I miss?
What did I miss?
That's
it's
why.
Not,
yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt. No, it's not a matter of if I missed, what did I miss?
Right. Right. And so I think that's why it's important for us And and y'all through the show and everything is, hey, it doesn't have to be like that. Like, we can, if we're promoting to the next generation of construction guys, hey, y'all are going to work till midnight every day and you're not going to get paid and you're going to eat shit for 5-10 years, they're not going to come. They're not going to come. And so it's important that, like, we have to get all this work done, but how can we do it in the fastest, most efficient way? It's not going to burn ourselves.
I think that's where technology and software comes in. Like programs like Ag Tech, I'm doing the same thing you do. I sub out my takeoffs, right? It just cuts down the amount of time that you got to put into doing something. So 100%. You find a great estimator, you start subbing it out to him. Even when you're starting out, you can do that. Like, it's not that expensive that you got to, you can't do it. Even in the beginning, you find somebody to do your takeoffs. Start getting that done. It gives you back time that you can put to other things or to sleep.
That's where the value is.
Yep.
We can't be effective as owners if we get 2 hours of sleep and we're eating shit and just not doing what we're supposed to be done. I mean, we subbed out. We're still a small company, but we're subbing out all our accounting. We're subbing out all our bookkeeping. We're subbing out our takeoffs, and project management and administrative tasks that way, we're subbing that out just because it's like, I could try to do this, or I can have my wife help me with this, but then I'm putting unnecessary stress on her. I'm getting overloaded with administrative and those tasks. Then I'm relying 100% on my guys in the field, which I trust. But then it's like, if everything falls off the rails, then we're all screwed.
Yeah, and
everyone loses.
It's still not the same, and that's where, like, prioritizing, spend your time doing the things that you need to be doing, and everything else that you can sub out to somebody else or have somebody else do is what you need to start looking at, finding ways to creatively do that. Because at the end of the day, your time is best spent being on the job, looking at what's going on, dealing with customers, dealing with problems. That's what your time needs to be prioritized at doing, and it's finding a way when you're starting and growing to do that, to literally just give yourself back more time. That's huge.
Right.
That's something that everyone needs to learn to do sooner rather than later. We all feel when we start, we got to do everything.
Right.
And in the beginning, you do wear 10 hats and make it work, but there comes a time where you have to start letting go of things and start prioritizing and delegating. That's what it is.
Well, and it's a balance too. It's a balance, but it's how do we have to be as effective as possible. As owners, and then pass that on to our team too. If we roll into the job and haven't gotten any sleep and start popping off at all our guys, I mean, we're lowering the morale of the team. Which in that case, what if they set the blade to the wrong grade? What if we oh, I missed that, or I'm pissed off at Joe because he came and yelled at us this morning because he's pissed off that he was working till midnight doing some bid or something. It's tough. It's tough.
Best thing you can do to help yourself out with the field, man, just recommendation. It's a software we run, and it's not going to cost you nothing. It's called Rockin'.
Okay.
Raken. And you guys listening, Rockin', you know what I'm saying? Free month, right? Yeah.
Not an ad.
But as you can see, this is all our jobs that we're doing right now.
Okay.
So our guys put up field reports. It's like running a heavy job, but it's cheaper version of it. We're going to eventually switch over to heavy job and heavy bid where it'll all work together.
Right.
We're just not justified that point yet. It's $40,000.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's an amazing software. I ran it when I was a superintendent at many civil companies, but getting just that, believe it or not, that's how you stay in the loop on what's going on, because you can see the pictures of what's going on in these jobs. And what I do with my guys is I go, and I took this from someone else who listens to the show, and I know they'd call me out on it if I didn't say that they were the one that came up with this. But he told them, he said, hey, when you get on that job every morning, I want a picture from every corner of the job. Right, starting time. And I want another set at lunchtime when everybody goes to lunch. Before you go to lunch, go take 4 pictures, all corners. And then at quitting time, do the same thing. You'd be surprised how much crap you'll catch.
Right.
Like, you'll be like, they got all that done over there, but they didn't touch anything over here, and this is critical path stuff.
Right.
And that's when you can get in front of it, because you're like, well, why are you guys doing that work first? Oh, well, the GC said that this needed to be done first. Well, the site superintendent told you to do that? Oh, okay. Well, the project manager is under the impression that this needs to be done first.
Right.
And that's when this miscommunication crap that happens
Oh, yeah.
all the time
Every
that we
day,
know
yep.
about. You can get in front of it, send an email, and then it'll generate you a daily report. You can email it to them and go, hey, guys, just a heads up. My guys are being told to do this work, and they're not getting this critical path thing that you want done first. So I'm just giving you a heads up. You guys let me know what you want to do.
Right.
And that way the blame's off of you, the liability's off of you, and everybody's going, okay, well, yeah, this guy's on his stuff.
We're solving problems before they become big problems. That's what it is.
Right.
And that's what everybody wants. They want a team player. Be a team player, absolutely. But at the same time, you're also protecting yourself.
Right.
So, the biggest things I can recommend to help you, I've been where you've been, man. Believe me. I feel for you, brother. I know, I know what you're going through. I was in the trenches there not too long ago. Best thing I can recommend, like I said, I know you're subbing out PM work, all that stuff. About 6 more months of that work you're doing. As long as you're making money, bro, and you can justify it, go get you some help, man. Invest in ag tech. They'll finance it for you. You live in San Antonio. I'm going to give you a gentleman's phone number from ag tech. He's an amazing guy. His name is Doug Pittman. I'm going to introduce you to him.
I've talked to Doug a few times.
Okay.
Good guy.
Well, he knows me very well.
Okay.
So he'll help you out for real. They'll do a 12-month deal on it. You pay, I think it's like $2,000 a month. You get $20,000 software after a year. You own it. And you have to just pay the maintenance fee once a year. I think it's $1,700. It's nothing.
We have we've been using we were going back and forth on, are we going to go, buy an ag tech program, put a guy in the office to do it, and things like that. And when you look at the costs for the cost inside versus being able to sub things out, I feel like with what we're doing now and the types of projects that we're on and what we're in our backlog of what we're going into, is so much of our work is not mass quantity.
I got you.
We specialize in, we're like nasty remodel, parking lot,
I got
complicated grading. And so with what, the work that we do, so much of that stuff, it wasn't feasible.
Right.
We don't do large quantity mass grading, and I don't care to. We really like doing the smaller, the cut up, multi phases, Mobin 100 times, lots of demo, site demo, working around utilities, things like that. The stuff that's really complicated and nasty, those are the types of projects that I feel like our guys and us kind of thrive on, just because I feel like we're able to offer a lot of value in that market. But now, on the other hand, we've had some stuff that's multi-acre, big cut, big fill, things like that, and those have been tough. Those are tough jobs. It's a lot of reps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big iron and big fuel bill and all that.
Big overhead.
Oh yeah.
You mean it don't run on unicorn piss?
Yeah. Yeah, no. And so we've been on those sites too. And you take guys that have been, digging around fibers and hammering concrete and tearing buildings down and building, cutting out basements and things, to moving to a Mass X type environment. It's totally different for us.
Right.
You guys play in that world. Yeah, and so it's two different sides.
So I guess I'm kind of fortunate. My guys we call our guys, I don't know if you guys use this term when you're hiring guys, but we try to hire a lot of flex guys. And growing up, a flex operator was a guy that could pretty much run everything but a blade. That's what we call a flex. Up here, at least, that's what we used to call them. I don't know what you guys call them, but we used to call them that. And so a lot of those guys have that experience that you're talking about. They've been on those complicated jobs.
Right.
But they also have the experience to go into a cut fill job or a massive cut fill.
Right.
And like, I did a Dutch Brothers coffee last year. I know you're like, what? Yeah, I did. I was also doing a job at the same time, though, where I was moving 60,000 yards.
Yeah.
I kind of don't follow a model like a lot of these other big contractors do. I don't consider myself a big contractor. I'm mid-size, but I can compete with the big boys, but I can also go compete with the small guys.
Right.
And I prefer to do the big work because honestly, when you're doing the bigger work, you're dealing with honestly most of the time better GCs. People know what they're talking about. The superintendent on that job's built 20 or 30 of these. You know, he's not building the 7-Eleven and he's like, "Why? I don't know what the heck you're talking about. These plans are oriented north," and he's pointing south with the plans, and you're like, "Oh God, this guy." Yeah. Or the project manager's like, "What do you mean that's a grade bust? What's a grade bust?" Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
So I've done both sides of it. I prefer the bigger stuff. Like you said though, it can bite you in the ass really fast though if you don't know what you're doing. If you don't know how to swell your quantities, if you don't know what production you're going to get every day, it can really bite you in the ass.
Right. And that's why I think that what I like about doing the smaller cut up, remodel, renovation type projects is I just feel like you can make a bigger impact. If you're the first one there, you're doing all the demo, you're coordinating with the GC, you're laying out, everyone's on, you're part of the initial plan. And so I feel like that gives us an opportunity to add value rather than, we try to go, if we're going to try to bid on a Ranger job or a Mass X job, there's no way we could compete with that.
Oh yeah.
And we don't want to. I mean, it's just not feasible for us. Those are massive projects.
The thing with dirt work is it's a niche actually.
Right.
I mean, you and me were talking about this once. You find your niche.
Yep.
A lot of people go, niche. What do you mean? Well, a niche is like what you're doing, like what Joe's doing, where you're doing
a very specific task in an area.
Yeah, you're doing, remodel work. You're doing smaller parking lots. You're doing smaller pads. You got mid-sized guys like me that do the quarter million square foot project to $1 million square foot project. Then you got the Mass X guys that go million plus.
Yeah.
Like I get 1 million square foot bids sent to me daily because people see us on LinkedIn and stuff doing Mass X work. And they're like, "Oh, these guys must do huge projects." Pete will tell them on the phone when they call. They'll go, "Hey, man, we want you to bid this job." He'll go, "How many grading plans are on it?" They go, 10. He's like, "I haven't got time for it, man." He says, "Unless it's 3 pages, I can't get to it."
Right.
Because, you're competing then with, up here for us, you're competing with RPMX, you're competing with Senecola, you're competing with all these guys that they have 25 estimators in their office, so they can do those. Right. And also, they're moving dirt for quarter of the price you can. Right. So I feel you on that. Yeah. It's a tough. I'm in this weird spot where our overhead's low enough that we can still go out and do these bigger jobs, but we're not trying to chase the big square jobs yet. Right. My goal is that. My goal is eventually all we're doing is industrial work and municipality work. That is the goal, but that's in the next 5 years. That's not right now.
Well, and see, like talking to Devin, found out Devin's doing, specialty X, and that's in San Antonio. That's very, very, very high margin, very demanding, and very plentiful work. The work that you're doing up here, down there, there's a huge opportunity. So I'm like, man, we should start looking at that. Because
I'll come help you out.
Yeah. I mean, give me some advice, because it's the specialty, the we need this, who can do this work and get it done, properly and execute well at it. And so
you get to charge for that too. And that's the thing that people, when you're starting out, when you're getting going, when you're rolling, you really want to try to find a niche. And the reason for that is, like we were talking about in the last episode that you guys will hear today, I think it's launching.
Yeah. Today. I'm just waiting on.
We were talking about rates and your overhead and figuring out your margins. And we were kind of explaining that when you're smaller and you're starting out, your percentage of margin is always going to be higher compared to your bottom line, your top line numbers, than a big contractor, because they're spreading out their overhead over 150, 200, 5,000 pieces versus us trying to do it on 10. And our overhead is smaller as a total number than theirs, but it's spread out over a small amount of pieces. So finding that niche that you're going to get into allows you to command a bigger margin to help cover that overhead cost, especially when you're starting. And like what you're doing, what I do, that's the reason for it. You're probably in the hardest place to try to do that, what you do, because you're competing against the big guys in that area. So getting your margin in that space is a lot harder than when you're in something that's more specialized and less people doing it.
Right.
But it really just comes down to it's the economy of scale. And when you're small, you need to try to find something that you can charge a little bit more to help with that overhead cost.
Right.
Well, the thing is, too, I've done the specialty work, too. I enjoy it. My guys hate it.
Oh, yeah.
Because they want to go out in an open field and they want to go do Mass X because to them, it's easy.
Yep.
It's a big square. Cut it out, haul it off, moisture condition it, put some select on it, roll it in, leave.
Right.
And when I go, hey guys, we're going to demo out a parking lot. Then we're going to put 6 inches of flex space down. Then we're going to demo out a basketball court. Then we're going to demo out the. When I start telling them that, they all go, really? That's the job we got this week? Yeah. We just came off a warehouse pad. I know. You guys want to sit at the house? You want some keep busy work?
Right.
It's your choice. So they'll do it, and they do a good job of it, but they bitch the whole time.
Yeah.
Because they're operators, and we all know operators. They're Casanovas. I love them, but they are. They're Casanovas. and I'm one of them. I grew up that way. You did too. You did too.
Yeah. No, and I think there's value added there. But I look at it this way. If I can do a $500,000 demo pad, new parking lot, some renovation work, some little pads here and there at a high margin, or I can go do a 500,000 square foot greenfield Mass X, cut it out and put base on it for the same, but I'm competing against 15 other site contractors that are the best in San Antonio. Mm-hmm. There's no money there.
No,
there's no money there, and there's no, it's not feasible.
And that's why we got into ISD work, because there's not a lot of guys that have a good safety rating, and if your safety's crap, they won't give you a job, man.
Right.
And we worked so hard when we were new. We'd be on jobs. I'm sure you guys know this. You've been on jobs, and I see you're great about it. And I don't know about you yet. I'm going to start following you, believe me. But we'd be the only guys on site that had PPE on.
Right.
You'd go out there on these other trades. The utility guys are in a trench, no safety vest on, no hard hat, nothing. They're just putting pipe in the ground, wearing T-shirts. I'm like, all right, man, your funeral. They're in ball caps, putting pipe in the ground, or concrete guys not wearing anything. They're forming up, pouring concrete. And that was when we were working small contractors, and the GC wouldn't even have any safety gear on. They might wear a hard hat,
right?
And luckily our guys were always doing that, and we built that from the start. And that's because I came from the big companies like you, where that was the culture.
Right.
You wear your crap no matter what you're doing, and that paid off. And we kept our EMR rating really freaking low, and we were able to get in on these better jobs now because of it.
Right.
And so now we're not competing with 15 other contractors. We're competing with 3.
Right.
That we've gone into that, especially of schoolwork. Yes, you get paid a little slower, but you're getting paid.
I think too, like we talk about a slowdown.
Yeah.
What I see, what I'm seeing in the market and what's seeing in San Antonio is people are looking for best value.
Mm-hmm.
Like
always.
Yes, low bid is still king, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I do see, and I'm betting the whole farm that people will go best value, because we may not be the cheapest, but I promise that we'll put out the best product.
Right.
And so having that, like going forward, I see that companies that don't have those standards, other trades, you start to see them falling off. When I was first starting our first few commercial projects, we saw a lot of site contractors going down, unfortunately. And so you're starting to see a weed out process in the market naturally, and for GCs too. There's GCs that are going down right now, unfortunately, developers. And so I think best value, high performance is still going to be, it's still going to be king at the end of the day.
It always wins overall. In the long run, it always wins.
Long run. And that's what we're betting on. It may take us longer to get to, doing $15, $25 million in revenue a year. But if we can do 10 and it's right, and our customers are happy and they made money on it,
take that all day.
Then at the end of the day, I'm betting that it'll come back to us.
I'd rather make 10 million with a good profit than make 20 million and I have no money left at the end of the year.
Right.
I mean, that's how I feel about it.
I agree.
It's, I mean, we're doing the work we're doing, and we did $5 million last year, and everybody's like, "You only did $5 million?" It's like, yeah, we didn't do a lot of projects last year. We were on long projects, but we didn't do a lot of them.
Right.
We did maybe 30 projects last year, and we did jobs from $40,000 all the way up to $800,000. So I mean, it just depends on what you're doing. And you got to think, everybody thinks, "Oh, you're doing all these huge projects." We're not billing that whole amount of that job in 3 months. An $800,000 project, you might bill that out over 4 to 5 months. It's not all, in 2 months you're billing all that out. I wish. Yeah. I mean, there's some jobs out there that are like that, where they got the schedule that tight where you need to throw that much iron on it. But I mean, most of them, they want you, they want you to come back 3 freaking times for everything anyways.
Right.
And nobody, when I first started in this industry, you didn't come back 3 times or 4 times. It was twice. You came, you did your mass work. Normally the utility guy put it back to grade. That was like the whole point of that. And what they did was they'd set the forms, and we would come in and we would double check, we would double clean up anything, but we put our backfill in behind the forms.
Right.
They'd let you do that back then. So when they poured, all the concrete guy would do is take a rake, or they bring their skid steer and just smooth it out behind the curb, because that was their responsibility, it's their curb. So they'd put it in, and we never came back after that. So now it's this whole, well, now you come back and backfill curbs after all the concrete's in. Why? Why don't you just have a concrete guy do it? He's already out there with a skid steer. Some of them are starting to do it, but it's little crap like that. But that ties up a guy.
Right.
Now your foreman's got to go by there, check that job every day. So that's one machine and one operator that are tied up doing what, $3,000 worth of work, when you need that skid steer to go make you $15,000 a day doing something else down the road on a big job.
Where are you getting $15,000 a day
Yeah.
on a skid steer? Sign me up. I'm buying 6 tomorrow. Let's go.
You know what I mean? You guys know what I'm saying, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
you're
definitely.
getting 50, more or less. You're getting $15,000 a week for that skid steer doing something else.
Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from.
Right.
But I get calls to backfill curbs every day.
Yeah.
And we love it. We go and do it.
If you're coming in behind somebody else to do
Right.
it, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, because you can rape them.
Well, but we include it. We say, hey, we've got our initial mob. We'll do our first round, put the pad in, do that. We'll come back and we'll do landscape grade after utilities, after curb. We put everything to grade.
Yeah.
I mean, we do as much as we can in the first round.
Exactly.
But what I've noticed, and we've won work because of it. Because they know, hey, these guys will come back and backfill. These guys will come back and put things to grade after utilities, and everybody else goes through and destroys the site, and not bitch about it. And it's helped us. It really has. It's helped us.
Well, if they know you're coming back and they don't have to chase you for it, rather than getting that, trying to chase somebody to come back,
Right.
It's delaying their schedule. It's holding things up.
Yeah,
That's valuable. That's huge value.
it is. But you're right, Brandon. It's a skid steer. You put a $299 on a job with a guy for a week. I mean, that's money. That's $3,000, $4,000, $5,000.
You might get back what you might get back what you put into it.
Exactly.
Like, you're not making any money.
No, you're not making any money, but you're adding value. And the customer says those guys come back, because every other site guy isn't coming back. And so it's that line. It's that line of how much value do we want to try to provide to these customers, and most of them are grateful for it.
Well, it's huge. And that's the thing. You always got to look at trying to find ways to add value, because coming back to your pricing,
Right.
you may not be the cheapest, but if the GC knows that you're going to come back and do that, he's going to be more inclined to pay the 3%, 4%, 5% more
Right.
to have you do it than to take the low bid and then have to chase that guy and screw up his whole schedule on the backside. So
Right.
that comes with building a reputation, building a brand, and it's all rolled into that, but it's huge. Always look to provide value somehow, even if it's something as simple as that, throwing a skid and backfilling curbs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I'm not one to say that I don't do it, but I do it. But I grumble when I do it. But
We all do, man. We all do. I do too. And I'm like, we already put this to grade. Oh, well, the utility guy left it a foot high. It's like,
I'd never do that.
you're a better man than me, buddy. I'm gonna tell you, because
it's-
my guys will go out there and kick the dirt off till they find a feather and go, that's funny because I put that feather in.
yeah.
and then I get paid for it. But that's also been working for these guys for 5 years. I can kind of pull that
Right.
shit. I can pull that shit. But I'm not. Hey, if you're listening, you didn't hear that. But like you said though, because I did eat crow though those first 2 years, I was like, oh yeah, we'll fix it, no problem. Right. And under my breath, I'm going, I'm gonna lose so much fucking money. But my first 2 years, dude, I'm sure it was the same with y'all too. I mean, I broke even most of the time. I didn't lose, but I was breaking even my first year, 2 years. And about that third year is when I really started making money. But it was learning these lessons that we're talking about. It was, oh, the utility guy left it a foot high. Oh, you got more dirt to haul. That's funny because I hauled all my dirt off already. So here's the topo that I left. My guy shot right when we left. When your superintendent walked the job with us and verified all our grades, that's cool. Here's your nice little change order to fix all this. And if you read your contract right, they got nothing to argue with you about. So it's, I don't know about how you're doing your contracts yet, but I sent mine back, and you and me talked about it. You said you do the same thing. I sent it back. It looks like Swiss cheese, dude. It's got more red in it than black half the time. So, you go yours.
We mark up a few things, but for the most part, the relationships that we have with our GCs, we haven't had to go back to the contract. It's something that gets signed. It gets put in a desk. We go and do our work, and we don't want it to come out.
Yeah, that's really good, man. Like that. I can honestly say this: you're the first guy I've ever had on the show that said that.
I think that it is.
That's awesome, though. More power to you.
Well, I mean, obviously we're young in the game. You know, I'm not going to say, oh yeah, we're never ever going to get burned, of course. But the thing is that if we walk on a job site and the GC asks us to do something, and the first thing we say, that's not in my contract, I want a change order, then you set the tone from the very beginning that this is going to be, that you're going to be a pain in the ass sub. And the last thing that this guy wants to deal with is a pain in the ass sub. Right. I've had, when I was a superintendent at the GC, we have our internal plan of how we want to build a job, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to put my trailer here, I want my job entrance here. Hey, Brandon, I want you to start in this corner right here. And you're like, no, I'm starting over here because that's where my biggest cut is. And then we have a big fight, But what I've learned is that if we have a plan as a sub, I have my internal plan with my guys. I'm like, hey, we're starting this job on Monday. Like, let's go out there, set up our GPS, and let's have our plan, and then let's go hear their plan. GC says, hey, we want you to start over here. And it's like, oh, well, that's stupid. There's no fill there. But it's like, oh, wait, there's a long lead generator that goes here that we need a pad for first. That's critical path. Right. Oh, well, that makes sense. But being able to communicate with these guys and being able to show that, hey, I'm on y'all's team. Like, we're on the same team. Because we as subcontractors want them to win as bad as we want to win.
Well, if they ain't making money, you ain't making money. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, and then it's a fight. Let them fight with the steel guy and the concrete guy. Let them have no problems with dirt and utilities. Let them start the job off, no problems.
And that's the key, though, is you're working for the right people, man. That's awesome because not all of us, when we start, get to work for the right people. Especially up here, we're saturated. So you got to go eat some crow for a while. You got to go work for some dirtbag contractors. So unfortunately, you get so used to working for those kind of guys that you have to put all those positions in place, even when you're working for the good people.
Right.
But most of them understand it. If you talk to an average GC and they go, man, I see you want a lot of contract corrections. And they go, you've been burned a bunch, haven't you? And you're like, yeah, I have.
Yeah.
And so most of them don't hold it against me. They understand it. They go, okay, this guy. And then they see our work.
Right.
Okay. These guys are legit.
Yep.
And we don't do a change order on everything.
Mm-hmm.
I have a limit with my guys. I say, if it's under $1,000, just do it. You know what I mean? If it's 4 hours of shit, just do it. You know what I mean? Bite your tongue. Just do the work. Now, if you're asking me to move a pile of dirt that's 12,000 yards from one side of the job to the other, you're paying for that. I'm sorry.
Right.
I don't care how nice you are.
Well, and it's
how great that steak lunch you took me out for was. I don't care. You're paying for that one.
Right.
So,
and there's a line.
Yeah,
There's always a line.
but you got to set that. Like you were talking about, you don't want to be the sub that comes on the job and becomes a problem child, but you also don't want to be the sub that comes on the job and gets pushed around either.
Exactly.
You got to find that fine line.
Exactly. And that's with going back to there's a lot of work out there.
Yep.
There's a lot of work out there. And for example, for us, we're in a specialty market,
Right.
and there's not a ton of GCs going after the work that we're doing, and so the ones that we do go after, we're really able to sit down and talk to them and say, hey, let's plan this job together, so that it works for both of us.
We do that with ours, especially the big 5 we work for. We got 5 that we worked for years, and half the time I go to their office, we sit down, or they come to ours, or we sit on the job and do it. But getting in front of a lot of things is the key. The other thing too, though, is when you do have a grade bust, I always send an email as soon as I get my survey report back from my guys that I use. They'll actually do it for me. They'll do a red and blue. They'll tell me if we got any excess material, and I'll call them up and I'm like, hey man, just wanted to give you a heads up. I'm not gonna send it in an email. I'm not gonna be that guy. Just send you an email with, here's the price change. No,
Right.
I'm not that guy. I'm gonna call you. What do you want to do? Do you guys want to do a design change? Do you guys want to do a field change? Do you guys want to do an RFI? What do you guys want to do? 99% of the time they go, wow. So how bad is it? I'm like, well, it's about 8,000 yards. That's bank yards though.
Right.
So we're looking at about 12 in trucking. Yeah, pretty much. Just send me the cost, man. I'll throw it on your contract. Half the time I just get my contract reissued, new price, because they had that contingency money.
Right.
So, yeah, am I taking a little bit of money off their plate? Yeah, but am I not making them a headache with the owner and them going, oh, we got half the job done, and this guy's saying there's more dirt out here than what there was supposed to be? Because you look like an idiot when you do that.
Right.
When you got a pile, you say you're going to haul off this much dirt, you get it hauled off, and you still got a pile sitting over there, and you go,
You're supposed to be the expert. Why the hell didn't you tell me?
What do you mean you didn't haul? You hauled all your dirt off, dude? You still got dirt over there. No, man. I'm telling you, I hauled what I bid. And it just saves that whole conversation, because if you come up front and go, hey man, I don't mean to bother you about this, but we have grade bust on your job. What do you want to do? And you look like you said, being a partner.
Right.
You're not just like, hey, this is going to cost this. You go, we got options. We can do an RFI, find out what they want to do. Do you want to stockpile it on site? Is this owner got another job that he might want to stockpile it for now and put it on his other lot in a year or two?
Right.
Is he on the lot next door? We can put the dirt over there. I mean, I always try to come up with ideas.
Bring solutions, not just problems.
Just bring a solution. But 99% of the time, they just said, haul it off. Or if we need to import more dirt than we're supposed to, bring it in. Just do what you got to do to get the job done. But it makes you look like, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's not here to just nickel and dime us,
Right.
Now, we got on a job the other day that they said there was no rock. My guys start pulling boulders out the size of pickup trucks. The guy's like, you got me on that, right? I'm like, did you? I'm not one to say look at your contract, but you might want to look at the contract on this one. He's like, oh, you got a rock clause, don't you? Oh, yeah. Been doing this more than a day, buddy. I mean, but they're going to charge me $400 a load just to haul this rock off. I mean, these things are huge. I can put one in per truck. They're huge, dude. They're going to stick up like 3 foot above the trailer. So the thing is, you got it, like you were talking about, you got to protect yourself, but you got to be fair too. And at the end of the day, everybody's got to make money. If the GC's not making money, they're not going to keep working. If you're not making money, you can't pay your guys.
Right.
You're not going to have a business. And an old estimator that I used to know at RPMX said this to me one time. It's .com, not .org. At the end of the day, you got to make a living.
Right.
You want to buy new equipment, you got to make money.
Right.
You want to buy dump trucks, you got to make money. You want to have employees, you got to make money. So, what are you thinking? The newest generation of operators, what is something that you want to see in the next 5 years with the equipment happen for making it easier for these guys?
I think the equipment's pretty damn good.
It's getting amazing.
I got a next gen 336 the other day. That was pretty badass. And we got a 926 loader from Cat. It's a 19
nice.
or RPO machine.
Awesome.
And we have a kid, 19 years old, never been on a job site. This is his first job. You know, he's been in the skid steer, been running the roller, labor, helping shoot grade. And so he said, hey, you know, that loader's yours. You know, we'll teach you how to run it. That's your loader. You clean it, you oil it, you grease it, everything. And first thing I get to the job site, open the door. Hey man, how do you like your loader? He's like, man, this thing bumps. The system's good in it. I was like, oh, okay. So I'm paying, you know, 150 grand for
Sound system.
Yeah, for the sound system and the loader. But I love it. I think the equipment's great. And I think the next generation of operators is damn good. I think that there's a lot of hope. I think the biggest issue with these kids now, outside of all the social political bullshit that they're dealing with, is that they need to be shown how fruitful this industry can be. And I think it's going to take like guys like y'all and doing these shows and social media and the internet to show them that, guys, you can make a shitload of money operating equipment. You know, you can make six figures. You're gonna be gone. You're gonna work a lot.
Yeah.
It's gonna be long hours. You're gonna have to commit to it, but you can make a lot of money.
You're gonna meet some of the best people you ever meet in your life too.
Of course.
I mean, I wouldn't have met him without construction. I wouldn't have met half. She can tell you, I wouldn't have met half my friends. I mean,
Yeah. No, I love it.
most of the guys I talk to on the phone at night are construction guys.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? Or you know, it's
It's a great space. It's a great job. And I mean, at the end of the day, the one thing that always has rung in my head was hard work will make you happy.
Right.
You know, and some people like sitting in an office, staring at a computer screen and stuff. I know myself personally, I want to blow my brains out every time I get stuck in the office. I spent the whole day in the office today, and it was like 4:30, and I go outside, and guys are greasing trailers and changing brakes and washing some stuff. And then I had a couple guys on site, and I'm like, man, like I would just rather be out here working all day than sitting here at a computer. But there's a whole generation of kids coming up that have grown up with technology, you know, and they're constantly getting blown at, like, you know, oh, go be an Instagram influencer or Amazon stores and do everything online on the internet. But I think a lot of people are not really getting exposed to, I don't want to say manual labor in a sense, because running a piece of equipment is not necessarily manual labor, but they're not getting exposed to how good it feels to go and jump in a machine and cut a swale or dig a ditch or grade a lot and look at it when you're done and be like, man, that looks good. You know, there's a certain value that you can attribute to that, of actually going out and working and doing something, and at the end of the day being able to look back and see exactly what you did. It's a sense of pride, right? And at the end of the day, that hard work will make you more happy than just the easy money. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't necessarily see, I think. And it's a matter of teaching the next generation that you can make A, damn good money at it, but B, you can go out and do work every day and see what you've accomplished right in front of your eyes. And to me, I think that's huge. But it's getting that message out there and getting them in, because like you said, you take a 21-year-old kid and you put them in a machine, they pick that up so quick. Oh yeah. And then they're good. You know, I have a 21-year-old operator right now. The kid's a little wizard, you know, like it's awesome. It's great to see them doing it. But
the thing with the you know, 19, 20-year-old, early 20s kids is that if they don't see progress, if they don't see momentum forward, then they shut down. They leave. And they also, what I've noticed too, is that when they face a problem on the job or a problem with something that they're doing, it's immediately they shut down.
Yeah.
And you can't go and yell at these guys. When I got into construction as an intern, working for a big GC, I didn't know anything about I didn't know anything about building a job. I knew how to use my tools. I knew how to, you know, I knew what was going on, but I didn't really know how a building or how a project got built. And so, you know, you walk on these jobs in the, you know, 2009, 2010 era, and everyone's yelling at each other. Everyone's old. Everyone's mad. Everyone's angry. Everyone's talking about going home and drinking beer.
I'm gonna fucking drag up.
And everyone's pissed off all the time. And I'm like,
The excavator operator's got a case of beer hidden in his cooler. He's sipping on them with his styrofoam cup.
Right. But it's
I remember
like
those days.
But it's like, why are these guys like this? Like, why is everyone so angry?
It's the
all
culture.
time?
It's the old culture.
Exactly. And so you stick a 21-year-old kid now on a crew like that, they don't make it.
No.
They leave and then they go work somewhere else.
Yep.
I had to literally, I think I told you too, you might have heard this on another episode, but I literally have a crew of all old guys and I have a crew of all young guys.
Yeah.
Because if they work together, oh my God, it's terrible.
Right.
They're calling me all in. They son of a bitch, he's down.
Right. And they don't know, and he sucks. And it's not that they don't suck or they don't know. It's that they haven't had the experience yet.
Yeah.
And so with these kids now, we have to provide an environment for them that, hey, you have a purpose and that's your machine and you're going to run it and take care of it. And we will teach you everything that you need to know about it. And then as soon as you get any more responsibility and take on more responsibility, we bump you up and we pay you.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We pay.
Yep.
I gave a guy a raise the other day because he answered his phone. I called the job and he was the only one that would pick up. I said, "You're getting a raise for picking up your phone." I was pissed, but I still gave it to him.
Hey Joe, can I come work for you?
Come on.
I'll answer your phone for you all day, bro.
But that's the thing, is that we have to provide an environment for these kids to thrive.
Yeah, it's true.
You put a kid on an 850, he's gonna have a blast.
Yeah.
You put a kid doing what you guys are doing. You put him in a new 325. I'd love to run a new 325. That'd be badass.
Yeah, so would I.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that we've got to encourage, we've got to train. They want to be trained. They want to be taught.
They want to learn.
They want to learn.
They're hungry to learn.
They are very hungry to learn. But as soon as if you keep kicking them in the balls every day, they're not going to come back.
Yeah. It's not coddling. I mean, to us, it may seem like coddling sometimes, but it's creating the right environment to let them learn. And it's just realizing that kids in this generation learns differently than we did. We were used to getting yelled at and having shit thrown at us, and that's what it was. We came up with that. But things are changing and times are changing, and the learning style and environment has changed, and it's a matter of adapting to that. I mean, we can fight it all you want, but sooner or later it's going to bite you in the ass. So you might as well just learn it, embrace it, and make it possible to do that. But at the end of the day, I've always done this, and I hire on attitude, not on skill. Exactly. You can teach skills. I can teach. It may take a bit of time, but I can teach skills. I just can't. It's easier to teach skills than it is to change attitude, and that's really what it comes down to.
So Robert and me were talking on the phone today, and Robert's my superintendent, and I talk to him every day, and he said, it's the only company I ever worked at where we're a family. Because we're real tight knit. The guys I've had them a long time. We're real tight knit. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows everybody what's going on in everybody's life. It's just how we are. It's not like drama or anything. It's just, we care about each other.
Right.
And, like my mom was in the hospital. Every operator called me and said, "Hey, boss, you need anything, call me." Like, that's just my guys. My guys are solid. They support me with this. Like, they all subscribe to it. They listen to it. It's awesome, But we brought in a couple new guys a couple of months ago. And it's cool because your own guys will tell you people that are taking advantage of you. They'll be like, "Hey man, I know I really shouldn't do this and breaking the code in the field, but a guy's not clocking out on lunch. This guy's, taking 2-hour lunches, he's showing up late, stuff like that." And they're telling you, because they're affecting my paycheck. They're affecting this company because they care about the company. Right. And that's the guys you want. You want guys that care. If you got guys that care, man, that's the guys you do reward, like you just talked about, giving that kid a raise.
Yeah.
Because he cares. He sees his boss is calling, he's going to answer the phone. That's the biggest thing that you need in any industry, man, is just people that care. But you have to build that culture. You have to treat them. You have to reward them for that.
Don't be scared to reward them. Don't be scared to listen. I just did this. 2 of my guys, my foremans, I went out and ordered trucks for them. 2 brand new, fully loaded Laramis. I didn't need to go and get a fully loaded truck for a work truck.
Right.
You're going to beat the thing up, throw shit in the box. What's it cost me as an owner a month to buy that versus a plain Jane work truck, a couple $100. What's it mean to them to get to drive around in a cool, nice new truck that's fully decked out? It's the little things like that that go a long way, you know, and that you have to be conscious of that as an owner and as a business operator. Don't be scared to reward hard work. Don't be scared to reward loyalty, and don't be scared to reward the guys that look out for you, you know, and that's the thing that I think a lot of older companies didn't really see value in that. And that's where we can shine, you know, and that's where you can separate yourselves apart from the big companies, the old companies. Take care of your guys, you know, do the little shit.
No, that's 100% it. I mean, if we've had some guys that have come in and you know right away if they're bringing the morale down. And if they do, we cut it out right away. Yeah, it's not, you can't, because if we go through a period of time where not everybody's rowing the boat the same direction, we're going to go backwards.
Oh yeah. You're going to sink real quick.
Yes.
And then you're going to have the good guys start quitting.
Yes. And we don't want that. We've had guys that have been with us from day one. We've had new guys, and, but it's like you said, we got to reward them. We got to take care of them. We got to show them that there's hope, that yes, you're working for a small private company, but
there's room to grow.
We can be whatever you want.
You take them to the moon with you. As my mom would say, you know, we're going to go to the moon and we're going to take you with us. And if you do that for them, man, that's the guys that you see in 25 years that he's the superintendent on the job. And the guy's like, well, how come you're so prideful about this company? Well, I started as a laborer here, dude. Right. I'm a general superintendent. I've been here for 25 years. And you go to the old companies, you'd see that, you know, because at the time they were doing that. Then they got big and they got everybody's a number.
Right.
And they forgot, they got their main guys. They got their supers and their project managers that they're like, that they take care of like that. But the operators to them, they're cannon fodder.
I don't know what it's like down here or what it was like down here. I know up north, when I was working in the field, I think that was that transition period, the late 90s, 2000s, that kind of area, where companies stopped caring about lifetime employees and they started caring more about just getting the job done and whatever. And when I was working in it, guys would, you know, work for a different company every 6 months to a year. They just keep jumping jobs. The generation before that worked at the same place for 30 years. I think we need to get back to having employees, and the goal to be they start their career here and they end their career here, you know, because at the end of the day, if you got a guy that you just put 30 years of experience into, what's that guy worth in 30 years? Right. You know, what kind of value is he going to provide to that company? And you need to look at the big picture and find ways to make guys want to stay, you know, treat them that good.
You need to get back to the old ways, like you just talked about, something that most companies don't do anymore. Every company I worked at early 2000s, they gave you a raise every year. Every year you service, you were at that company. You might have not got a lot, but if you proved through that year that your evaluation was good enough, they'd give you a substantial raise. It might be 20%. You know, if you just did average, it might give you 5%. You know, if you did whatever, we'll give you 2.5%. You know, it might be a quarter, but every year they gave you a raise. So there was incentives back then. Now, I mean, I worked at one company. I worked there like 2 years. I didn't get one raise, and I was out working everybody.
Right.
But it was because it was cliquish, and I wasn't in the little clique. But I worked harder than everybody else there. Never made trouble. They just didn't give me a raise. So I asked my foreman one day. I says, "Hey, am I doing something wrong?" And he's like, "No, you're not doing anything wrong." I said, "I'm not one to ever ask for a raise, but you know, can I get a raise?" "Well, yeah." "Why didn't you ask before?" And I was like, "Because you don't ask for raises, you earn them."
Yeah.
And he was shocked when I said that. He says, "Well, everybody else here just comes up to my truck and asks for one, and I give it to them." I'm like, I've never worked at a company like that before. But that's when I realized that
it's a culture problem.
It was changing, that they were so used to guys doing that they just made that their system of, hey, don't pay any more to this guy unless he asks for it.
I agree with that, but I agree and disagree, because like for me as an owner and me as somebody that's trying to provide the best employment opportunity possible for our guys, I approach it more of a, hey, this is a value exchange. Okay, you add value, I add money.
Mm-hmm.
You add more skills. I have one guy that he is, you can put him in a 6T and he'll cut and push all day forever, no problem. Fantastic. But is this person going to run a job for us one day?
Right.
Is this person going to be the superintendent? Is this person going to be vice president of operations? Is this guy going to want to make a transition to the office? And it's like, no. It's like, okay, well then there's a limit. But then we have other guys, we have other guys and we're seeking talent that wants to move up.
They want to better themselves.
They want to continue to grow. Like we want guys, obviously we want guys that'll do a job no problem, but we want guys that want to help themselves, that want to add value, that want to make more money. Because if they want to make more money, eventually we'll all make more money.
All of us.
If everybody on the team is hungry to get better and advance, I would love to have the entire team say, hey, I want to be the foreman on the next job. It's like, okay, well, shit, we better go get a lot of jobs, because we have all these guys that want to step up into leadership positions. But it's how do you separate? How do you find those guys? How do you retain those guys? And then how do we find more guys to backfill behind them that want to grow?
I think that's culture, man. And like honestly, I actually was you were probably on that call too, that Arte call. Andy was talking about how they push raises. You come in. Here's a list of books. I want you to read these books. You read these books, you get a raise. And we're in the dirt world reading books. Okay, cool. But how do you learn? You don't necessarily need to learn and grow as an operator to run a job. You got to learn and grow in your people skills and management skills.
Exactly.
You don't necessarily learn that sitting at a set of controls. You got to learn that elsewhere. So maybe as owners, we need to start pushing that, outside learning, reading books, going and taking courses. If you want to get into utility work, well, I have one guy we got certified for Fireline. I went and asked him, like, hey man, we want to get into Fireline work. I need to have an RME on payroll. Someone's got to go take this course and write these tests to be certified. Do you want to do it? Yeah, I think I can do that. Cool, man. You go do that. You get licensed. You get certified. I'll pay you more.
There you go.
Done. Awesome. But you provide the path. Open the door for them. Open the door and give them the opportunity and let them walk through it. And if they walk through it, pay them. And that's something that it comes back to. We have to do that as owners. Sometimes you kind of got to take them by the hand and lead them a little bit, show them the light, and then let them make the choice if they want to walk through it or not. Right? And that's something that we have to do as owners. I think more than anything, you can build guys, and some guys that never thought they would even progress to nothing, with the right coaching and the right push and the right motivation, they will. And that's on us.
I would say we're all like people development companies that do construction for fun.
Pretty much.
It's how I look at it. I'm like, okay, we want to be we want all our guys to be studs. We want everyone to win. I want everybody on our team to win. I want everybody to get a new platinum. I want everyone to get a badass house. I want everyone to get a boat, whatever they want.
Yep.
I want everybody on the team to get it. But to do that, we're gonna have to work really, really hard and be the best at what we do.
100%.
And
you gotta kick ass, man. That's what you gotta do.
It's tough.
You gotta stay humble, man. I say it every episode. It's so true though. You gotta stay humble, man. You gotta take care of your guys. If you gotta get out there with a broom and a shovel and help the guys clean up curbs, do it, man. You ain't no better than anybody else.
Right.
And my guys drive newer trucks than I do. I got the oldest truck in the fleet. I don't care. I got to get new trucks this year. Speaking of, thanks. They're probably going to hear this now, so now I got to give them new trucks.
Hey, first new vehicle I ever bought in my life. I've always been cheap, so I always buy the truck that's got 30,000 kilometers, a couple miles on it, used, get a good deal. 2 first new vehicles I ever got in my life weren't even for me.
Yeah. It's part of the game.
It's miles per hour, you Democrat.
Yeah. I'll get there eventually.
I took that from what fucking movie was that? The Drilling Rig movie with Mark Wahlberg. The one about the rig that blew up in like 2009. What was that movie? We just watched
Deepwater Horizon.
Yeah. You remember that part where he's like saying Slumberger? It's really Slumberjay. He's like, it's Slumberger, you Democrat.
Man. I'm getting there. I'm getting Americanized. All right. The temperature still screws me up. I just get fucked up with it all the time.
This summer's gonna be brutal.
It's 30 degrees for me, not 90 or 100.
As soon as the gun goes on the hip and the American Eagle's flying over your truck every day, bro, and you're eating bacon, you'll be golden.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, Joe, can you tell us the website for your company, bud? So
It's,
I can put it up on the screen for the show.
Villarreal Civil Group.com. We're on LinkedIn. Instagram, Facebook.
And
Hit them up, man. Check
yeah,
them out.
check
Follow
them out.
them.
If you're in the San Antonio, you guys go up to Austin too, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you're in that San Antonio, Austin metro area, since now it's one big area, there used to be nothing but between them. Now it's just grown to each other. So if you're ever in that area, guys, and need work, give them a call. I'll definitely, if I have anybody that's working down that way, I'll shoot them your way, man.
I appreciate that.
I have some great clients that work all over the place, so I'll definitely send them your way. Joe, we really appreciate you coming on the show, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having us.
Next time you're in town, we'll have you back on. See how things are going.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So do you come up much or?
Yeah, I mean, as often as I can.
Okay, for sure, dude. Let us know. Hit Devin up, and we'll have you back on, dude.
For
We'll
sure.
see how
Definitely.
things are going.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, guys, for watching. By the way, we got the Spotify. Give us our 5 stars. We do have a Patreon account, so if you could check it out, give us some support on that. It helps us with the show, so we can get guests like Joe on. Please like and subscribe. And we got another episode coming out in 2 weeks. We got the gentleman that runs the construction veteran podcast. He's a Navy vet. He has his own podcast. He's going to come on the show. He's saying he's going to have us on his show, though, by the way. So we got to set a day up with him when he comes in and be on his show.
Sounds like a plan to me.
It's really cool. He talks about like military guys that are in the construction industry. So it's pretty cool. So guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And we'll see you next time. Devin.
Like, share, subscribe, shout it out, guys. Let's spread the message. Get some people watching.
Yeah. Stay classy, everybody. We'll see you next time.